Preload, pop, preload, pop. The logs, the greasy forest logs, from little twigs to big fallen trees. I'm going to run you through the best way to survive these things, how to negotiate, how to prepare. The one thing you need to ensure to safely get over these smaller logs is to clear the front wheel. Look at the axle height compared to the log. Your bike's going to go over it if you do nothing. But when they're at an angle and they're greasy, it'll take you down, as you know. If the ground's slippery, chances are you're not going to get the traction you need if your body's in the wrong position. So you're just going to force that front wheel into the log. You need to make sure you're getting grip, you're taking weight off the front end, and rising that front wheel over. It doesn't have to be a wheelie, it just has to be the weight taken off. The suspension, you'll be surprised, that initial action of the suspension will do the rest. Okay, first example, I'm going to fight all instincts here and do what most people would do, is nothing, and just hit it and hope for the best. Oh. Okay, took one for the team, that's what happens. Sorry, Husky. Bike is otherwise okay. Yeah, that's what happens. Those who have done it before, I'll show you how to not do that. I'm not even going to stand up. I'm going to put my weight to the back, and just before it, I'm going to lighten the front wheel. Did you see that? So safe, so easy. Now I want you to see what happens if I try and drive over it. It's one thing to pop the front over, but if I don't use trailing throttle and coast the log, watch this. I'll pop the front and I'll try and drive over. The greasiest of greasy, okay? Remember what I said in the first video of this series, how much traction a rolling wheel has? You do not want to be driving over this log. You want all your thrust and you know, projection to happen before the log, and then trail the throttle over. I'll do it again. Watch. Standing up this time. I'm making a big deal out of such a little thing. On the trail in a race situation, you wouldn't even falter. I would just hit the right body position, weight it, get the traction, coast, all in a millisecond. Okay, I'll do it a bit faster. Okay guys, same thing again, now in succession with a bigger log, double the size. Same technique applies. Get your weight back, time the burst, pop, roll, pop, roll, okay? With these logs, these greasy logs, all the work is done before you hit it, okay? Let momentum and coasting, trailing throttle carry you over it. Standing up now, suspension can work better. You expert riders, okay? Preload, pop, preload, pop. Now with this one, you want to use the first log as your preload. You kind of want to pop, set up, preload. For you expert guys, you're getting full extension, and when you chop the throttle, that's not only trailing the log, but it's leveling you out, okay? It's leveling you out mid-air. With that last method over those two logs, they were both at a diagonal, and if you have the room, one thing you can always do to lessen the aggressiveness of the deflection, let's call it, is square up the log 90 degrees. So you can leave the trail if there's room, square it up 90 degrees. The deflection is almost negative in left or right. Doing it on the fly mid-corner is a whole nother level of accuracy. Now, once you initiate the technique, as long as that front wheel clears it, you can kind of deal with the rear end kicking out, especially if it's in the flow of the corner. Now you can probably see it looks too easy, because when you get the technique right, it is easy. Let me show you how greasy that is and what would happen if I was not preloading. You've seen what the front will do. I'm not doing that again. I don't want to get injured. So, but I'll show you what happens if I half-ass it. And by half-ass it, this is half-assing it. You're a bit balked. Oh, he said you got to get the front wheel over. Oh, got it. Now what? Now I got to drive over. No chance. It's never going to drive over that. Never. Same again. Square it up. Little bit of weight. Done. See what happens when the front wheel just touches it? It's enough to deflect you. When they're this greasy, you have to get full clearance. Watch the difference when I get full clearance. Perfect. The difference right there. You can see the varying degrees of getting the weight off the front. If I've got plenty of drive, but not enough lift, and the front even just touches that bloody thing, look at the outcome. Alright guys, this is the business end of the deal. The big logs, the big dogs, where a fallen tree has blocked your path. So there's two stages to this. There's the mountain bike style where, you know, trail builders, they'll make it achievable for the majority. This is not the biggest log. It's big, but it's not that big. So utilizing the same technique of weighting the rear, gassing it, getting your drive, all your momentum is taken care of, right? No matter what you do now, the bike's going over there with or without you, okay? The best way to do it now is to trail the throttle. And when you have to give aggressive bursts for this height, always be ready on the clutch. So you want to catch it as your wheel hits the log. You just want to maintain a bit of that drive, like trail the throttle, but keep the clutch half cracked, okay? You want to coast that sucker over. But then you get to the big dogs where there's no helping log. Tap the front wheel. As soon as that front wheel is tapped, there's a second burst, okay? So what you're effectively doing is creating a ramp for yourself that doesn't exist. You're lifting the wheel here as if it's on a ramp. It's contacting there, extra gas, get it vertical, and then you want to catch it with the clutch, trail it over like a hero. Look, unless you're standing here and I'm teaching you, that's about all I'm going to tell you for the video. Now I have to try and do it. Alright guys, I'm not going to say too much because I got to concentrate, but just listen to the throttle, look at my clutch hand, if you can see it. Yeah. Clear the throat. Let's go, Husky. Don't go too hard on the first one, because you got to get composed. One. Wow, that was a relative success. A little bit of panic rev, because it was slipperier than I thought. But otherwise, job done. Whoa, recompose. Right, this is ready for the standstill attack. Standstill attack. Take two. Let's hope I don't go over the bars. 1, 2, 3. Nearly. Third time lucky. Okay. This thing is so good. That was pretty good. A little bit of wheel spin, but pretty good. There's just no grip. It's slippery on the launch area, slippery on the contact. The whole place is slippery. But I want to get it, because I'm stubborn. Right, last one and I'm calling it. You want to stay real composed on the first one. Prime for the second. Nailed it. Pretty happy with my efforts actually. I think that's 5 goes without dabbing a foot. Good enough. Anyway guys, that's a wrap. Really hope you enjoyed that session. I'm trying to make it valuable for both the beginner and the expert. I think you'll get a bit out of it. Maybe it's remotely entertaining as well. And don't forget, if you like this stuff, subscribe to my channel, share the video with all your mates, tell them all about it. If you know someone who's out there busting their ass, has always got their arm in a sling or something, you should probably get them onto these videos. It'll help them a lot. Next week, keep an eye out about here somewhere for the final video of this series, which is how to master ruts. And this is probably the most difficult aspect of off-road riding for any level rider. Ruts take down even the best riders in the world. So I'll translate what I can that the pros are doing, what I know you should do, and help you make ruts work for you as opposed to against you. See you next time.